Hello and welcome to my garden tour for 2023. This is September the 2nd and this is a very late garden tour. I know it's more the end of the year garden tour, but it's one of those things. It's part of the theme of this year, it seems, is that I've been putting off things a lot. Procrastinating. Not such a great thing for the garden. So let's talk about my garden and what I've been doing. So this is one of the efforts I tried this year. They're half barrels, about 15 or 20 liters or so each, and cut in half down to length. I tried to grow onions in them. You can see I got one little weak sprig here, a few other dead bulbs inside. This one is the same thing, mostly dead bulbs. I tried planting lettuce in the last one over here a couple of times, and the first lot died completely and never even got to this spot. What I have been dealing with a lot this year is weeds. Lots and lots of weeds. So these are a couple of curly lettuces. I'm not going to get a meal out of them. So this half barrel idea has mostly failed. There's a couple of onions in here, but I'm pretty sure they're the same size now as when I put them in. Now over here, this is a sunflower. Several sunflowers I bought from Dollarama. Seeds from Dollarama, I should clarify. They're only now starting to form the heads. So maybe I'll see heads coming out of them, I'm not sure. This is my bathtub full of strawberries. They did fairly well this year. I expected to see more runners. You can see one here coming out of one of the plumbing holes. But they didn't produce a lot of strawberries. I gotta honestly admit, I haven't done well this year. I'm picking the strawberries to encourage more growth. This is another one of these fabric planters from the dollar store. It did well enough to contain soil. I don't know what most of this stuff is. I had planted some wildflower seeds and stuff in it and just kind of let it go. Pretty sure this is all just weeds. And over here, this was an old wheelbarrow. Nice metal container. I figured this would do a lot better than it has. But the beets that I planted in here are there. Well, the tops are there anyway. There's no signs of actually having any decent beets. As you can see by this one, there's nothing edible there. So this is mostly going to be chicken feed. I have several of these around the property. Pots of tomato plants and pepper plants in some cases. They've done okay, some better than others. This one was only transplanted out a couple of weeks ago. Now this is one I put a video out on a little while ago. I had high hopes for this, to be honest, but I'm not sure if the cardboard wasn't sufficient to hold back the water, if it was the lack of watering, or if it was something else, but mostly bug damage, I think. As you can see from the looks of it, I transplanted in a tomato plant here. This one was here at least 3 weeks, maybe a month ago, and it hasn't shown any significant growth at all. Most of the bean plants here have been eaten away by bugs. I had hoped that this would do a lot better. I wanted to see the plants come up to the top and hang over, because last year they had done so well down in the backyard. But this year, not so much. Flour that I bought from grocery store and some more sunflowers. Over here, I had a big bin. More plants, of course, down here. Tomatoes. There's another sunflower. This big bin was something being retired from my workplace. So I got 2 of these, and I planted garlic in this one, and the other one down in the back actually. So this is parsley that I put in ages ago and honestly forgot about that it was even here. It wasn't doing anything for ages, and then all of a sudden I got parsley. I thought I'd been pulling weeds. I kind of hope I hadn't been pulling weeds that were parsley instead. There's a marigold I bought from a local nursery, and I don't know the name of the flower. I think it's not a nurserum. I can't pronounce the name anyway. Potato has taken up residence in this one. I guess it came from compost that I had in the container already. I knew the name of this purple flower. I bought a 6-pack of them or so. They're planted around, but I don't remember it at the moment. Another big sunflower. These bags from the Dollarama have done a lot better. These little ones over here don't really contain as much soil as you would think. That container is, I don't remember the dimensions, but it's low and wide, and realistically it holds about 25 liters or maybe as much as 30 liters of soil. But this one holds roughly the same amount, only it's taller. Gives the root structure more room to grow. Over here on the edge of the driveway, there's 2 more sunflowers coming along nicely. We're starting to get some heads coming through, but I'm not sure if they're going to have time enough to grow and actually flower before we start losing all the warm weather. The rest of that 6-pack of flowers, they were doing better, but they're all starting to die off. Over here on the side of the driveway, this is a victimized pot. I keep nudging it with the car as I'm backing in and almost tipping it over. But it's been neglected for the last year or 2, and I really need to dig it out and replace all the flowers into it. But some of this stuff has been regrowing up through. I'm not sure if this is anything I want to keep, but I think these are begonias here in the back. And if they actually keep going, then I might actually keep them. This is a side planter I made a few years ago, and I planted tomatoes in it this year, and I'm actually pretty impressed. You can see there's a fair number of tomatoes in among here. I haven't seen any ripe ones yet, though. This one's starting to, barely starting to blush. He's not quite as green, but tomatoes have been pretty good sight this year. They're just not doing that well. Can you see the girls in the coop? They know I'm out and about, and they're looking for treats. 3 more pots of potatoes. I'll introduce you to the girls later. There's some marigolds here. Purple flowers are standing out on my oregano. Can be quite invasive if you're not careful. I'm lucky so far that they haven't overgrown the garden too much. My grass is getting thick. I'm quite happy with that. Now, mightn't recognize this one. It's popular here where I am, but not everywhere else. This is summer savory. Didn't think it was growing too good the first year I put it in. This is actually the 2nd or 3rd year it's been growing here in this pot, and it's been flourishing. It's been doing pretty damn good, actually. spreading throughout the pot. I planted other flowers in there, but so far no signs of most of them. This is mostly overgrown. You can see I get a few flowers coming up randomly, but I keep planting them at the wrong time of year. So some of this, most of this one needs to be pulled out and replanted. Same with the other two. There's a lot of stuff growing there. I did have some flowers coming up from this one. I don't remember what they were because I think they self-pollinated from previous years. Again, more tomato plants. These are Roma varieties. Some of the other ones you saw previously were Manitobas and Sweetie cherry tomatoes, I think. But they're coming along. They're giving me tomatoes. But so far I'm not getting a lot of red. They're not ripening up very well. My strawberry plot needs a lot of work. It was doing well, and I made the same mistake here as I did it with the bathtub strawberries, and I'd let them go. I didn't see a particular lot of strawberries coming, and I kept putting off picking them, which means that they didn't produce a lot of more strawberries. They just dropped them and let them go, or the bugs ate them or whatever, and they just didn't produce a lot of strawberries for this year. And now they're getting overrun with weeds, which means I need to do some very careful gardening and get rid of these guys. Pretty sure that's a hoverfly. So here in the backyard I have another bathtub. This one's also mostly full of tomatoes. A lot of Roma tomatoes this year. I gave away some to my brother, but I still had a lot left over. My old garden bench here. Still rather nice to sit on, but it's starting to need some work. It'll be a future project to repair or replace this. Screws here are broken off in between. More tomatoes. This one grew very quickly and got very bushy. I'm not exactly sure how much tomatoes I got in here. This is the other bin that I have my garlic in. I've harvested my garlic and actually got 21 bulbs of garlic. Quite happy with that. Another half barrel idea back here. Again, more tomatoes because I had that many starts come along. I didn't think I'd get so many, but they all started coming true, and I didn't want to just destroy starts, and I didn't have a way to sell them or anything. So I just kept finding places to plant them. These are Sweetie tomatoes. Again, I got some tomatoes coming out, but they're not getting ripe yet. Add another half barrel here. This is what I should have been doing with those small half barrels up in front. This is another of them here. I should have cut them off this way and give more depth. The other Roma tomatoes I just showed you were also in barrels like this, and they would do a lot better. Various pepper plants. These are minis, mini peppers. I salvaged the seeds from work. Some in the greenhouse are doing a lot better than these guys. These are chili or cayenne peppers. I'm not sure which, but well, that one's chili pepper. I guess still got the stick left in it, and so is this one. So the two chili peppers, you can see they're both doing okay. but they're not doing that well. Another tomato plant here in the back. See, this guy needs more support, and I didn't have any more cages, and I haven't been down here enough to put in stakes to get them upright as much as they should be. Another one here. This guy's not going to even bear fruit by the looks of it. He's that stunted. As we come behind the greenhouse, I have yellow string beans. I thought this was a great idea when I did it, and I was expecting them to climb up a lot better than what they have. Really thought they were going to climb all up over it and that they were going to be arcing and moving everywhere, and this year they remain true to their name and are little bush beans. They're yellow wax beans. I really expected them to do better, but they're doing okay. Eggplants over here, they were really late starting. I planted them, I didn't see any growth for a long time, and I really thought they had just failed or that the birds had eaten them and that was going to be it. But all of a sudden I had eggplants. And more pepper plants here. By the time they started coming, I didn't have space left to put them. So I started putting them in buckets and moving them outside. And some of them have been doing okay, but these guys have not. The ones in the greenhouse are definitely better off. Now here's zucchini plants. I've harvested a grand total of 4 zucchini plants. 4 zucchinis off of here this year. These guys are what I thought I had planted in her. I'd completely forgotten that I had planted the zucchinis in there first. So I'll get some of these purple beans, purple string beans out of it, but not enough. It'll be enough for a couple of meals maybe. I'll blanch them and freeze them. Funny thing is, they're nice and purple now. You cook them, you cook all the dye out, they turn back to green. And this is a few broccoli plants that came along, but they've been getting chewed on by bugs for the most part for most of the year. My 3 compost bins. I was down cleaning up in front of here today and found these 2 containers that I have forgotten about. I have found some chestnut seeds in among the leaves that you can see here. I still got 1 bag left from last year. In among the leaves, I've been finding chestnut seeds. I've been trying to plant them. I have 1 here in this container. Not sure if there's anything viable in here or not. Mostly overgrown with weeds at this point. I'll probably just dump this back in the compost. This is supposed to be a chestnut seed, but it's just not seeming to be growing. More pepper plants that have gotten chewed up. Bugs have been really bad for some things. That's more Roma tomatoes. They've done really well. This is the almost full-size barrel. It was used to hold laundry detergent at work. Washed them out a lot. I've really been reluctant to make use of chemical barrels, but I managed to get a few when they were still using fabric softener in this format, and washed out the fabric softener fairly easily. I've been okay with that. I haven't smelled or detected anything left on them, but some of the other harsher chemicals, I'm not sure if we could even wash them off. This is a plant, I'm not sure what it is. I thought it was one of my peppers, but it's obviously not. It started growing up in the greenhouse among stuff that I had. I didn't know what it was and transplanted it, figuring it was a pepper. But now I'm getting all these berries coming out. And I don't know what they are exactly. So I've been leaving them to see what they develop into. pepper plants here. Some of them are doing better than others. It's a nice thick stalk on this one, but he hasn't flowered yet. Not sure if he's going to get much time to. I have a load of tomato plants here in among the weeds. They've been getting overcome with weeds. But again, it's another area where I was hoping for a much better result than what I got. I have milk crates here that'll hold a 25-liter bag of soil, and I had planted tomatoes in this front corner one. There's another tomato in among this one here and that one. That's a nice Roma tomato. He's developing some nice little tomatoes. But there's cucumbers here that are only now starting to really show any growth. Right? And more bean plants here that I intended or hoped that would grow right up this pole. And didn't really go. I'll talk about the main garden in a minute. But some of these pots I've gotten from Dollarama, I had high hopes for them for peppers and tomatoes, that they would do somewhat good at least. But most of these plants are about the same size as what they were when I transplanted them out. Really not seeing the growth that I had hoped for. Now, in here is mostly peppers, but there's still a few tomatoes left. There's another chili pepper or cayenne pepper plant here. You can see there's loads of flowers coming out. There's another tomato plant here behind it. And over here you can spot that I actually got a pepper coming out. Right, but I don't see any actual peppers growing yet on any of these guys, the chili peppers. The red you're seeing is pots, not peppers that I've missed. Not yet, anyway. They should come out all nice and green first. I think I will try again this year to see if I can overwinter any of these guys. This tomato plant needs a drink rather badly. Another tomato plant and tomato there, and another one there in the corner. More just backup Romas that I haven't had space or reason to transplant out. I really need to do better than this next year if I want to get something out of my efforts. I kept running out of containers. I've gone through just about everything, and work uses 100-ounce cans, so you've seen them a fair bit through my garden tour here. Now let's talk about inaction and the consequences of inaction. Now I got some carrots on this side and parsnip on this side. I've had a bit more success there than I thought, but as you can see, weeding has been an issue. I came through when I weeded the potato beds and I started ripping all of it out. I filled the wheelbarrow and then some. But it might have been too late for some of this stuff already. This is a black currant plant. It was planted last year and last spring. And didn't seem to really do much of anything. I really thought I was going to have to rip it out, that it was dead in place, DOA. And because all last year it didn't seem to do much of anything. It just seemed to put out 1 or 2 leaves and that was it. But this year it's taken off quite a bit better. Peony there, that's been there a couple of years. White bleeding heart has already done its job for the year. The pink or red bleeding heart, I was trying to get down to shoot this video while this guy was still in bloom. Its lily was putting a scent through the air for quite a while, and I missed the opportunity to show you in full bloom. My apple trees down here in the back seem to be doing pretty good, but as you can see, the store-bought containers for tomato plants here seem to have done okay, but it's still a rather disappointing turnout. Bigger container over here for tomatoes. It's big and fluffy and doing really well, but I'm not sure if they actually got any tomatoes forming on it or not. And there's a few tomatoes in pots here that I reluctantly tried when I started planting in potatoes because I had the seeds and I had the pots, so why not? Previous years I haven't done well with it, so let's see what this turns out like. So that'll be the end of my garden tour for this year, unless I can think of any spots that I may have missed. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. Hope you like looking at my garden and hearing about how I'm doing with it, the successes and the failures and the oversights on my part. And I hope you come back and see how things are going the next time. We have to talk about chickens. We have to talk about different projects that I've done. I'm going to do a video called My Summer Report, the things I've done over the summer. And we'll see how that one goes as well. But I hope to see you again soon. I hope you take care of each other and have a great day. And I'll see you next time. My name is Steven. This is Heart's Delight Exports. Have a good day.